Dropbox, Stripe, Airbnb, and Reddit are all unicorns, and all of them went through an accelerator. There are more than 100 accelerators globally now, but some are better suited than others for SaaS founders. In this episode, I will go through my top 10 favorite accelerators for SaaS founders, and as a bonus, I cover also how to increase your chances of getting accepted into one of their cohorts. My name is Alexej, and I help SaaS founders scale. An accelerator is usually a program where in exchange for some equity, you get some capital and undergo a structured program with mentors and other perks. Accelerators can be online, in person, or a hybrid. The duration can be anywhere from 3 months to 12 months. At the end of an accelerator, you usually have a demo day where all the startups from that cohort present to a room full of investors. In some cases, like the YC Combinator, there are more than 200 investors present at the demo day. This is the most anticipated event of an accelerator program usually. My personal experience is that I'm a mentor at 500 Global. I invested into Entrepreneur First as an LP on behalf of a family office, and I participated in On Deck Scale, not quite an accelerator, but a very similar program which showed me the pros and cons of these structured programs and mentors. Before I jump into the top 10 accelerators, you might ask yourself, does it even make sense to participate in an accelerator and give away 5 to 7% of your equity for very little capital with a capped valuation? The answer really depends on your skill set and experience. If you're a second-time founder, I would probably say it does not make any sense unless you really need a bit more hand-holding and want to leverage the community of the accelerator to sell your product. If you, however, a first-time founder, it might be quite helpful for you to join an accelerator, especially if the accelerator is relevant to your industry and region and has a strong brand name. If you do not have any contacts in the startup world and you do not have any network in the capital space, then absolutely an accelerator will help you 10x your growth and save a lot of your time. It would justify you giving away 5 to 7% of your equity because you get the community and you get a great exposure to investors on the demo day and various events leading into the demo day. Important is to understand that many of the accelerators provide anywhere between $25,000 to $500,000 in funding and take up to 5 to 7% in ownership. The terms might look different between accelerators, but ultimately they all structure it as a small stipend or funding amount up front, then more funding when you complete the program, and another portion sometimes contingent on the bigger round you raise with outside investors. I will cover more of that when I discuss each accelerator. For now, I would not focus on the investment terms as much and instead look into the alumni, the mentors, and the brand of the accelerator. Finally, most of the accelerators I talk about here have raised funds which allow them to invest in your startup after the accelerator program and continue to be of value. So enough of me rambling, let's jump into the ranking. On position number 10, 500 Global. Let's start with the accelerator where I'm a mentor. Last year I became a mentor at 500 Global, so that gives me quite a good insight into how they provide value. 500 Global used to be known as 500 Startups. It's one of the largest accelerators out there and is the first truly global accelerator. Today, 500 Global runs a lot of different programs, and several of the programs and accelerator cohorts focus on certain themes in countries who need help in creating tech ecosystem. In 2023, 500 Global created an accelerator program in Tbilisi, Georgia. 500 Global has a Slack community with all the alumni and all the mentors in there and is super active. As you can see here, there are various chapters and functional channels. So if you have questions on fundraising or product, you can all discuss it in various channels and you just type in your question. The accelerator programs are all in person and the flagship accelerator program is in San Francisco. The investment and equity ask varies by program, but on average, they invest $150,000 for 6% equity, and they invested in over 2,800 companies with 330 exits so far. Some notable companies that have been part of 500 startups include Canva, Udemy, Credit Karma, and Grab. On position number 9, you have Entrepreneur First, another accelerator close to my heart. Full-time programs, they give you access to a carefully curated selection of potential co-founders who are committed to building a globally important company. So it's slightly different to normal accelerator. Entrepreneur First runs a 3-month long program called Form where you have to come up with an idea and find a co-founder to then present your idea and team at the end of the program by a demo day. Entrepreneur First has been associated with the creation and development of numerous successful startups, especially in deep tech and hard coding across various industries. Magic Pony, a machine learning business, was acquired by Twitter for $150 million just 1 year after they went through the accelerator. Over 500 companies founded with a portfolio value of over $10 billion. In July 2022, Entrepreneur First announced their raise of $158 million as a Series C, and investors in that round included John Collison, David Hinrichs, Reid Hoffman, and many more big tech names. That makes it one of the most well-funded accelerators out there. Founders receive £120,000 on average, which translate to roughly £80,000 in cash for the startup after program fees. Funding generally takes the form of a convertible loan note, with terms generally translating to about 10% of the company's equity, and it converts during the next investment. On number 8, Antler. Similar to Entrepreneur First, it helps entrepreneurs find co-founders and teams to help develop their business idea and invest in startups that are thereby generated. Antler positioned itself initially as an accelerator, providing hubs for founders in places where some of the more established accelerators were not present. Places such as Stockholm, Bangalore, Jakarta, Singapore, Seoul, Tokyo, and Sydney. Antler is probably one of the fastest growing accelerators out there, and now also has a presence in London, Berlin, New York, and Austin. Antler was founded in 2017 by Magnus Grimmeland. Magnus is a Norwegian entrepreneur and the CEO of Antler. And before founding Antler, Marcus worked at McKinsey and then at Rocket Internet to co-found Zalaro, an e-commerce platform focused on fashion in Southeast Asia. PitchBook ranked the company, i.e. Antler, as the most active seed-stage venture capital firm globally with 262 deals. It invests around $100K at the end of the cohort, and it created 500 companies with more than $2 billion in value so far. Famous exits include Aralo, Juno, and Volopay. On number 7, I have Cattle Factory. Cattle Factory was founded in 2008 by Joshua Baer, an entrepreneur and angel investor. The vision was to create a central hub in Austin that would bring together startups, investors, mentors, and other stakeholders. The aim ultimately is to replicate the success of Silicon Valley in Texas, or Austin in particular. And with so much migration from California and so many tech companies setting up in Austin, Cattle Factory sits in the center of all of that. During South by Southwest, a large tech conference in the US, I visited a bunch of the events and have to say that I really like the community and the fancy office space in the center of Austin. The number of investments is 1,695 with a very big number of exits, 550. Most notable companies in the portfolio are WP Engine, Sparefoot, Kahoot, Rover, and the only downside is that if you're not in Austin, it might not be the right accelerator. Now in position 6, we have Plug and Play. And the origins of Plug and Play are very different to most other accelerators. Plug and Play was created by a very successful family in the US and is still managed by Rahim Amidi and Saeed Amidi. Plug and Play is positioned as an innovation platform connecting startups and large corporations through Accelerator program. Founded in 2006, they've helped over 1,360 startups to get to market. And startups that are accepted into Plug and Play can look forward to a 12-week program intended to spur innovation and connect existing startups with blue-chip corporations such as Visa, US Bank, Franklin Templeton, Facebook, and Unilever, and many, many more. The programs run globally in over 40 offices with over 1,300 investments so far and 140 exits. And of course, notable startups include Dropbox and 26, the neobank in Germany. Now, on position number 5, I have Startup Wise Guys. Startup Wise Guys is a European startup accelerator and venture capital firm that provides support and investment to early-stage startups. Startup Wise was founded in 2012 in Estonia. The accelerator provides selected startups with a structured program offering mentorship, funding, and a co-working space. While rooted in Estonia, Startup Wise Guys has expanded its reach beyond the Baltic region. It has run accelerator programs in multiple European locations, fostering an international community of startups. Startup Wise Guys did 580 investments and 92 exits so far. Startup Wise Guys was named hottest accelerator at the 2021 Europa Startup Awards. listed among the most active European seed stage investors by PitchBook in 2021 and 2022, and are always among the top 5 accelerators. Now, on position 4, Alchemist Accelerator. Alchemist's backers include Khosla Ventures, DFJ, Cisco, Siemens, GE, and Salesforce. This accelerator is very clearly positioned around software which sells into enterprise. The accelerator runs a 6-month-long program. The funding provided is more on the lower end, typically offering $25,000 and funding around 25 teams per class. The average ask is 5% of equity, but there's flexibility for later stage companies. Alchemist serves founders with global aspirations wherever they do business. The headquarters is in Silicon Valley, but they also have a presence in Memphis and Munich for European startups. Alchemist Accelerator primarily focuses on startups in the enterprise technology sector. The accelerator is known for supporting and mentoring companies that are working in innovative solutions and technologies related to enterprise software, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and other areas within the broader enterprise and B2B space. Number 3, Techstars. Positioning is that they are an operational investor supporting entrepreneurs from idea to building a successful business. Techstars was founded in 2006 by David Cohen, Brad Feld, David Brown, and Jared Pauls in Boulder, Colorado. The founders aim to provide mentorship, funding, and support to early-stage startups. They invest around $120,000 for 6% equity, 3 months program, mentorship, and access to the network. Over 3,500 investments have led to 350 exits roughly, and some notable exits of cohort participants include SendGrid, which got acquired by Twilio for $2 billion in 2018, Sphero, known for its robotic toys, and ClassPass is a unicorn right now and keeps raising more money. Techstars has established accelerator programs in various cities worldwide, including New York, Boston, Seattle, London, Berlin, Tel Aviv, and many other ones. The organization has a global presence and a really diverse international network. On position number 2, I have a Y Combinator. Most rankings have Y Combinator on position 1, but I have it on position 2. And of course, it is the most famous startup accelerator out there. It's a 3-month-long program, and they have a winter and summer cohort. It's an in-person event, although during COVID, they went online, and now they're back in person. YC considers you as a founder if you have at least 10% of equity by the time you apply. Companies must be incorporated as a US company. The YC was founded in March 2005 by Paul Graham, Jessica Livingston, Robert Morris, and Trevor Blackwell. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, was president of the Startup Accelerator from 2014 to 2019. With $500,000 investment, YC has the largest investment of all the accelerators in this list. However, it's split into 2 stages. The first, $125,000, is invested on the post-money save in return for 7% of the company. After that, another $375,000 is invested on an uncapped save with the most favored notion provision. What it basically means is that Y Combinator is given the same conditions as the lead investor in the next round for when the $375,000 convert into equity. So on top of the 7% they own after the first $125,000, the $375,000 will also get them ownership. Say you raise your next round at a 15 million post-money valuation. That would be an additional 2.5% for YC based on the $375,000 investment. So 375 divided by 15 million basically. Now YC has been associated with numerous successful startups that have gone on to achieve significant exits or status as huge unicorns. Some of the notable companies include Airbnb, Dropbox, Stripe, Reddit, DoorDash, Coinbase, and many others. But on number 1, I have TinySeed, and it's not to be mixed up with the listed Canadian software aggregator called Tiny Capital, which is also very famous. TinySeed is actually a remote accelerator focused on B2B SaaS companies only. I like it more than YC because of the more focused approach and more focused on all of them. The reason I like TinySeed the most for SaaS founders is because of its mission and the focus on capital-efficient, non-unicorn SaaS companies. The other point is that it's a 12-month program. which is much longer than the usual 3-month programs. TinySeed started when Rob Veiling and Einar Volstedt noticed that capital-efficient startups within the microconf community were limited to 2 options: bootstrapping or seeking venture capital. They recognized the need for an alternative approach to startup funding, and the significant demand for such an approach became evident when they announced it in 2018. Unlike rigid models, they provide founders with the flexibility to decide whether they want to raise additional funding, aligning them with their unique goals. Additionally, the investment approach encompasses various corporate structures, not just limited to C Corps. Their focus lies on fostering the growth of capital-efficient, non-unicorn SaaS companies, fostering a diverse and a resilient entrepreneurial landscape. Given the founders behind TinySeed are also the founders of the well-known MicroConf community and conference series, you get a really strong community around you, with everyone in that community focused on building a SaaS business. The funding is around $120,000 for the first founder and another $60,000 per additional founder. Community, mentors, and brand name are for me the most important factors when trying to build a software business. And this is why it's my number 1 pick. We covered my top 10 accelerators. And now I will give you 10 ways how to get into an accelerator as a bonus. So, research and understand the different accelerators, their focus areas, and the benefits they offer. Choose one aligned with your startup goal. Number 2, build a strong foundation. Have a clear and compelling business idea, a viable product, and a solid business plan. Number 3, network. Attend industry events, meetups, and conferences to build a strong network, and the networking can open doors to an accelerator program for you. Create an impressive pitch. Craft a compelling pitch that clearly communicates your business idea, your value, proposition, and the market potential. Another big factor is building a prototype. Having a working prototype or minimum viable product, MVP, showcases your ability to execute your ideas and provide tangible, evidence, and data points of your concept. Of course, even better, show traction. Accelerators often favor startups with some level of traction, demonstrate user engagement, customer interest, or early revenues even. Now, engaging with a mentor is not cheating. It's a really good way to get into accelerators. Many accelerators offer mentorship programs, so you might as well reach out to mentors before that. Apply early and thoughtfully. Submit your application early to increase visibility. Take the time to thoroughly answer the questions and provide relevant details about your team and business. Guide your team. Showcase the strengths and expertise of your team. Accelerators often look for well-rounded, capable teams that can execute on their business plan. Demonstrate coachability. Be open to feedback and show that you're willing to learn and adapt. Accelerators often look for startups that can benefit the most from their program. That's it. So if you like this video, check out our SaaS Minds podcast on YouTube, where we interview every week SaaS founders with more than $1 million in ARR. The link is below.